What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're actually going to be going over my top 5 best characters in Genshin Impact that I would recommend to a newer player or someone coming back to the game if they were deciding on what characters they want to plan for their account so that they're able to clear the Spiral Abyss and Imaginarium Theater in a pretty easy succession. If you guys enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate all the support on the channel as of late, guys. It definitely does mean a lot. We are closing in on the 500 subscribers on the channel. And with that out of the way, man, let's hop in. And before we actually talk about the top 5 guys, let's talk honorable mentions that we're gonna have here on the list. Alright, guys, so the first honorable mention here is gotta go to Raiden Shogun. Now, she does not make the top 5, but I think she is one of the best characters in the entire game for many things that you want to do with this character, and she's just super versatile. She's able to be a off-field elemental skill character, or you can run her as a on-field driver, main DPS type character. Raiden Shogun, in my opinion, is one of the best characters in the game, and she does not make the top 5 in terms of must-have potential because, the thing is with Raiden is that she's kind of fallen off damage-wise versus nowadays DPS characters. She definitely does require to get, some constellations and having a really decked out artifact set for her to really compete with, a lot of the later game DPSs nowadays. But she has a lot of value, man. Being able to push elemental burst for a lot of your other teammates, having the off-field elemental skill, as I mentioned, the burst, it does so much damage on the initial hit, and then you have the follow-up hits. Raiden Shogun, in my opinion, guys, is one of the better characters in the game, and does not make the top 5, but is an honorable mention in my opinion. Alright, guys, so I'm editing this in after the fact, because I honestly kind of forgot a few other characters that I think could fit honorable mentions that I did not mention later in this video. So we have, obviously, Raiden Shogun, we have Yelan, we have Baizhu, and then we also have Shen Yun. And so I'm going to actually talk about Yelan, Baizhu, and Shen Yun, and why I feel like they make the honorable mention spot before we actually move into the top 5 itself. There's a lot of importance that I have for the later tiers here, guys, for Baizhu specifically. We'll talk Baizhu here. So the reason why I have him in honorable mentions is because I think him as a character, being a shielder healer for Dendro specific teams, is a really valuable slot. A lot of the Dendro teams that you're running need to have a healer either in a Bloom setting or in a setting with like Hyper Bloom, where if you're running Raiden or you're running like a kooky Hyper Bloom team, having a healer on the team with Baizhu, having a shielder to protect your team as well, I think that is very valuable to have. Now, the other character here as well is going to be Yelan. Alright, guys, now moving on to Yelan here. I think Yelan is going to be in the honorable mention slot because I think she's a great buffer and off-field damage character for Hydra specifically. We already do have characters like this in Sing Shou, and I think that Yelan does a lot better than Sing Shou and kind of is a different purpose on the team in a sense. Yelan is not just providing the off-field damage from her elemental burst, she is also buffing the team through her elemental burst as well, through one of her passive talents if I'm not mistaken, and also the fact that Yelan is really good in the overworld. When you have her elemental skill, you can actually move around really quickly with it as well. And I feel like that's fairly valuable for someone in their Genshin Impact account. And that's why I got Yelan on the list. And then another character here that we had, guys, is going to be Shen Yun. And I think Shen Yun, with her specifically, is because she actually enables a lot of new teams with her effect that she's able to give pretty much any character a plunging ability. And I think that enabling a team, that she's able to do because of the way she works and providing that plunge for the team, I think is very valuable, man. She pretty much made Diluc a character that's actually good in the game nowadays, guys, which is actually surprising since Diluc was a day 1 character from back in the day, and he has one of the highest plunge multipliers in the game. So him along Shen Yun is like it's an absurd team, you know what I mean? And you obviously can run her with Xiao, you can run her with Hu Tao, you know, with probably Arlecchino too. I mean, I've not tried it. I know Navia is really good on plunge, Gaming. There's so many characters that would benefit from Shen Yun, man, and her having that whole new like play style pretty much for a lot of different teams, I think is valuable and will be in the honorable mentions in my opinion. Alright, guys, so hopping into the top 5 now that we've talked honorable mention being Raiden Shogun, let's actually talk number 5 being Nahida in my opinion. Now, Nahida is a character that I think is really strong in Genshin Impact. The main thing that she is useful for is obviously Dendro based teams, in Dendro teams, she is a must-have on those teams, generally speaking, because of her Dendro app that she can actually apply. So the way Nahida actually works is you have the little like camera effect. You can know you do the elemental skill, you do the camera, and it's gonna hit every character on in the actual like arena that you're in, and you're actually gonna apply Dendro on them. And whenever you hit an enemy, it actually chains the damage to another enemy that is applying Dendro on them. And I think that is very, very strong effect to be able to have. It's a lot better than Raiden's E in that sense, right? Because Raiden is, you know, it's only really hitting off of the hit from the user, or if you have like some type of other off-field, you know, damage that you can do to be able to apply it. But Nahida is, you just spin in a circle, guys, apply the elemental skill on everyone, and she's gonna be able to do a ton of damage. She's very versatile as well. You can run her main DPS, you can run her as a off-field Dendro applicator. You know, she has such versatility in that sense. She's also buffing your team's, you know, elemental mastery and Dendro related reaction damage. And yeah, I mean, Nahida has to be on this top 5, guys. It's just one of the better characters in the game. And yeah, she is really, really insane. She's gonna be my number 5 for this tier list. Now, moving on to the number 4, guys, I'm actually going to pick Kazuha. Now, the reason why I'm going to pick Kazuha for this number 4 slot is because I think Kazuha, generally speaking, is one of the better, you know, buffer type characters in the entire game. Kazuha is able to swirl a elemental type and actually boost that elemental type's elemental damage bonus by up to 40%. And because he's an Anemo character, you can actually do use the VV set or the Viridescent Venerer to actually red shred the enemy, so you're getting a 40% red shred and a 40% elemental damage buff at a 1000 plus EM range for Kazuha. And if you're able to get that range for him, he is super, super broken. You know, he is a very accessible character to be able to use. He's very easy to use. And yeah, just a very, very strong buffer character in the game. And, you know, if you are trying to clear like Spiral Abyss and you need some type of grouping character, Kazuha gotta be the best grouper in the entire game right now. Whereas like a character like Venti back in the day would have been really, really good right now if enemies were still able to be caught in his tornado. Whereas with Kazuha, he can pretty much swirl a lot of the enemies and suck them in with his you know, crowd control, and it is really, really strong that he's able to be able to do that. You know, having that, and also the fact that he is buffing the team as much as he is, guys, and the actual swirl damage itself doing a lot of damage too. I mean, it's really, really valuable effects from this character, and is a must-have in my opinion for the top 5, being number 4 on my list. Alright, guys, now moving on to number 3, I'm actually going to go with Farina. Now, the reason why I'm going with Farina as the number 3 and not higher on this list is because I think Farina is a really, really strong character, and in my opinion, better than Kazuha and Nahida for the uses that she's capable of using her for. Farina is just absolutely insane. The way she works is she's able to buff the entire team's straight up damage bonus. So it's going to be able to allow them to get just any type of damage bonus, kind of like Kazuha in that sense, but she can give it to any elemental type other than, I think, physical. I think physical might be the only one she might not be able to do. I'm honestly not too sure about that, but I know every other elemental type is able to get her buff. You know, she has really good off-field elemental skill damage, kind of like Nahida in that sense, where Nahida can apply the elemental skill on everybody and do a ton of damage with that. Farina's able to do that too, and she also has modes to it as well, where you can actually switch the elemental skill to be a healing ability. And if you do need the healing ability to actually heal your team, it's also going to still outright buff them because of the way Farina works, where you want your HP to be lowering and gaining to be providing a massive buff to the team. And that right there, I think, is a very valuable thing. And, you know, with the enemies in the game now, where you have to just, you know, res shred and an elemental buff your team a super crazy amount, Farina is one of those characters that's gonna be providing that super absurd buffing capabilities. And in my opinion, it is better than Kazuha at this point, because she also has that off-field damage too, which in a sense is going to be a little bit stronger than just Kazuha swirling the element, right? You are getting a lot of the damage from the outright damage bonus from her elemental burst, and then the off-field damage as well. Yeah, Farina is just absolutely insane, man. The only thing I guess with Farina is you kind of are forced to run a healer if you don't want to run her for her healing ability specifically. But I think other than that, I mean, Farina is definitely a must-have in my opinion, guys. And yeah, just a really, really good character. Alright, now moving on to number 2, guys. This is going to be 2 characters specifically for this number 2. That's why I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the video, or hopefully I did, that there's not just going to be 5 characters on this list. We had to put an honorable mention, but we also have to put 2 characters in this number 2 spot, in my opinion. And I'm going to go with Neuvillette and Arlecchino, or pretty much. So it's either you pick one of the 2. And the main reason why I have both these characters here, so Neuvillette and also Arlecchino, is because these characters, guys, are the 2 best DPS characters in Genshin Impact, just outright. If you're looking for the 2 best DPS characters in the game, oh, and I guess technically 2, we can add Mulaney in there as well. Mulaney as well. I actually completely forgot. But if we're talking the 3 best DPS characters in the game, then it's gotta be these 3. And so, you know, the idea is, as a free-to-play, you pick the one you like the most, and you go with that character to be a really strong main DPS character. Let's start with Neuvillette. Let's talk Neuvillette. So Neuvillette is really absurd. You know, he's able to do a ton of AoE. He has an absurd amount of damage. He can heal himself. He lowers his HP, but he also heals, right? And that's kind of how his set works with Marcius a Hunter. He is just an absurd character, and in my opinion, the best DPS in Genshin Impact, just across the board, because he covers both AoE and straight up single target damage. He is just absolutely insane. And then the next character that I got here, again, as we mentioned, is going to be Mulaney. Mulaney is more of a single target based character, whereas Neuvillette is kind of AoE centric. Mulaney, though, single target is just absolutely absurd. You can deal up to like 400k vapes, just absurd amount of damage. And yeah, just a really good character for single target damage on an Abyss cycle or whatever. If you're looking for that single target damage, she is going to be able to dish that out. And it's just absolutely absurd, the damage she's able to provide. Now, moving on to the other character as well, guys, with Arlecchino. Arlecchino is the strongest pyro DPS in the game, and pretty much shut down any type of Hu Tao use in Genshin Impact nowadays because of how strong she's able to be with her pyro app, and the damage she does with it is just absolutely absurd. The only like crutch with Arlecchino, and I would say with of these 3 characters, Arlecchino would probably be the hardest to play, is because she doesn't have any source of like healing, pretty much because of the way her Bond of Life works. You're really not going to be getting a ton of heals from Arlecchino, guys, other than through her elemental burst, so it's going to be very hard to keep this character alive. But if you can keep this character alive, man, and she's dishing out the damage, she's absolutely going to roll through pretty much any Spiral Abyss that isn't going to have any like Pyro Abyss mages or any like characters that are just immune to Pyro damage. She's easily going to breeze through all of it, and is a very strong DPS character in my opinion as well. Alright, guys, now moving on to the number 1 character in Genshin Impact that I think is a must-have, and this might be a controversial pick, but I gotta go with it, and it is Zhongli. So Zhongli is my number 1 in Genshin Impact for must-have free-to-plays just to get. And the main reason why I say this is because Zhongli helps you so much when you're doing Spiral Abyss in pretty much any team you are running that has a DPS character and that you don't really need any type of healing on. Zhongli is a staple character. He's able to resistance shred every single elemental type, and also physical red shred by, I think it's 20% or 10% red shred. It's absolutely insane. He has the strongest shield in the game. I think the only character even comparable to him is probably like Baizhu or even maybe Layla. His shield is absolutely absurd. He's a Geo character, so, you know, the typing isn't the greatest in the sense that it's not reacting with other types, but you are able to get like crystallized reactions too, which could help with it, like another shield. And guys, the comfort factor that Zhongli provides for your account is understated. I know a lot of people just, you know, the thing is with a lot of people, they're like, oh, amazing, why don't you just dodge? Why don't you just dodge? A lot of people struggle to dodge in Genshin Impact, and it's not even just like, even me, as someone that like does Abyss a lot, and I feel like I have a good grasp on how to dodge, you know, attacks and all that. I feel like just having Zhongli makes my time so much easier that I don't even have to worry too much about that dodging that I need to do. And I think that alone has to be the most valuable thing for your account, in that if you get Zhongli, pretty much any DPS character you have is gonna be protected no matter what. There are obviously circumstances where there's going to be like, you know, Rift Hounds where they're going to shred your HP through your shield, and, you know, debuffs like that can definitely affect Zhongli's performance. And you could even argue like Baizhu honestly could be also in this slot too, just for like the comfort type ability. But I think Zhongli just being a universal character, whereas Baizhu is really, you know, restricted to Dendro teams. I think Zhongli just being literally any type of team you want to slap him on, red shred, you know, shield for your team just to protect you. He's doing literally everything, man. And I think that alone just having that comfortability is more worthwhile than a lot of the other things that these other characters are providing, in my opinion. And obviously, you know, this does depend on your playstyle and how you play your game, but Zhongli gotta be my number one, man. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This might be a little bit of a hot take. I don't know. I feel like, you know, the value Zhongli provides for your account is strong, man. A lot of people like to say, you know, Zhongli slows your times and all this and that. But like realistically, you're not using Zhongli in speedrun, but you're using Zhongli on an account that can take advantage of Zhongli. You know what I mean? If you can use Zhongli just to get that red shred and protect your team, you're running him. You know, he is a staple character. He's always on one side of your abyss cycles just to protect your main DPS. He's so strong, man. And I feel like I have to like state the over importance of like just comfort for a character, and Zhongli being able to provide that comfort for, you know, even like a character like Arlecchino, where, you know, as I mentioned, she really struggles with, you know, healing and protecting her. So having Zhongli there for red shred, so you do more damage and protect her, is very valuable. Same with even Mulanni. Neuvillette probably doesn't need it the most, but I mean the red shred's nice. You know, Zhongli is just absolutely insane, guys. So let me know what you can think in the comment section below. This could be a hot take, and hopefully you guys don't like cook me in the comments, but let me know what you guys think, man. I definitely overestimate Zhongli in a sense, but it's valuable. It's valuable having that shield and protecting the team, and I think just the comfortability for any type of player, either being mobile, console, even on PC, just having Zhongli helps you so much more on your account, man. So that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know what you guys think of this list in the comments below. That's gonna be it. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.